boy, the nonprofit sector connector. Welcome back to Long Island Changemakers, where I have the opportunity to meet with people on the front lines in business, philanthropy, and from the nonprofit sector that are doing the important work, that are making the connections. And you know, I always say how important it is for businesses to get involved in philanthropy and get involved in the nonprofit sector. And my guest today is my good friend, Mike D'Onofrio, Premier Payroll. What's up, brother? What's going on?
Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing good. I feel like I want to hug you. Like,
come on.
Let's do that. Can we do that? I don't.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad we.
It's been a long time talking about it.
It has been, and you know what's fun about it, Mike, is I saw what you're doing recently. Just as this time of year, people get involved with nonprofits and do a lot of the give back, and they're focused on that. You guys are doing it all year round at Premier. And before you even get into it, I just want to say, folks, in life, right, you know this, things happen for a reason. You meet people for a reason. We met through we worked together for a very short span of time.
That's right.
What's that?
That's right.
And it was like, we were only there. I was only there for like, I don't know, 60 days?
I was going to say, yeah.
Wasn't a long time.
2 to 3 months.
Yeah, and I didn't show up very often.
We had lunch that one time.
That crab spot. What's that place called?
Bigelow's.
Bigelow's. It's like on like Sunrise or something like that.
Yeah, just off of, I think, Rockville Road or
So the thing that always impressed me about you and your business is I knew you were going to do this. We talked about what you were going to do with Premier Payroll Solutions, but what I didn't know is I didn't know how focused you were going to be on your philanthropy. So what I'd really like to start with is tell us about the business. Tell us about the work you do. You know, again, I grew up at ADP, man, so we know payroll. You and I have that in common. But tell us, let's get that piece going about your business.
Sure. So we're in our 10th year, which is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, we were co-workers 14 years ago, which is pretty scary. Yeah, and there is so much commonality between us and so many great individuals and business owners and philanthropists. You know, we are a company that we do a lot of work in the hospitality space. It's just part of my background and my two partners, and you know, really having a niche really has been instrumental in the growth that we've had. You know, and listen, we're a payroll service bureau. We're a regional payroll service bureau with national reach, and essentially, I think the commonality across our clients, whether hospitality or non-hospitality, is we focus on our clients. We focus on our team. You know, really, we have a culture of just giving back. I encourage our employees that if there's something near and dear to their heart, bring it to my attention, and we often support. So some of the work that we do is more public, and then some of the other is just more on a donation basis. Sure. And if there's an ability to attend with the staff, certainly do so. But you know, Premier is a company that focuses on our clients and our staff. You know, we spend a lot of time together, as many people do, you know, in the workforce. And you know, we just have made it an environment that is conducive of family, taking care of each other.
Why, you know, I'm in the employee benefits business, as you know, so we talk to a lot of HR departments, we talk to a lot of business owners, as you and your team. That culture piece that you talk about, it's obviously very important to you. Do you see that, and do you see that reflected in a lot of the clients you work with, where, you know, they are focused on, I use that word culture, I throw that word culture around, which to me means taking care of employees, giving them the opportunity to volunteer, giving them the support as it relates to different causes. Has much of that translated from the way you do things at Premier to your clients, to when they see what you're involved with?
I can't speak of behind what they do, but I do get calls and messages from our clients, seeing what we do, applauding, asking to contribute further. So I have to believe that, you know, there's good people behind who we work with, right? You know, if there's always been, I wouldn't say a motto, but over the years, we really do enjoy working with our clients, you know, and if there's a client out there that's being disrespectful, it probably has happened twice over the 10 years. where we've just said, hey, maybe you should look elsewhere.
As it relates to your employees, if they're
Right.
not treating them.
That's correct. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that's culture. Talking about taking care of you.
Yeah. Listen, I'll stand in front of anybody, and if you're going to be disrespectful to someone on our staff, just go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, not everybody does that, Mike. That's a big part of it.
Yeah,
That's
and
looking out for your people. That's taking care of people.
I feel like it's in our DNA now. Certainly in mine personally, but as far as a business, I think it is. And we work too hard to be treated poorly, and we're humans. Mistakes happen. It happens on the client side as well. But the reality of it is, we're trying to do the best we can every day, and the more that we continue to grow our business, our team, it allows us to give back more.
It allows you to give back more. What a theme, right? It's going to run consistent through this conversation. Talk about some of the give back. I mean, you have this incredible net and 9, which I love to play in that outing. In fact, it's golf outing every year, and 9 holes for somebody who golfs the way I do is plenty. Because you know what? You don't need to see me golfing for more than 9 holes.
Right.
Even this year, I couldn't.
I can
play.
attest to that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't looking for the insult, but thanks for doing it anyway. Yeah.
Sure.
So I couldn't play this year. There was a good joke for you. I can really never play, but I couldn't.
I missed it.
I didn't have the opportunity to show up at the event and stay for golf. So I came by just to see everybody, and I did I walked around. I did
the Tommy D
schmooze.
tour.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was great. A lot of hugs, a lot of handshakes, a lot of pictures, and the whole thing. That particular event. How long has the Net 9 been going on?
8 years.
And now Vinny, you're part of Vinny, our friend, Vinny Papalardo. That was really his thing?
It really is, yeah. He's the pilot.
Yeah.
I call myself the co-pilot.
I like that.
I'm on the plane.
But I'm going to tell you this. If you two were flying a plane, I would not. I would drive.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
fair.
absolutely.
So
he has great hair, though,
Yeah.
for a pilot.
Well, that makes 2 of us out of 3, I guess, right?
Right. Who's the third?
Well, you're the one with no
okay.
hair, and then there's Vinny and I.
Okay. He headlines that and does a fantastic
great
job.
And Friends of Karen is the
Friends of Karen,
Right.
he sits on the board,
Yep.
Certainly near and dear. I think he's been on the board for 15 years.
dude. I remember when we met, like the Friends of Karen and stuff like that. Vinny had brought us all out. There was like it was like a recruiting session to join the board
Right,
and stuff. This
right.
is going back 15 years.
He's been a part of the board for 15 years. That's a great organization, essentially helping out families that have critically ill children, often cancer.
It's an incredible organization.
Helps pay for bills, sibling support, and certainly if Vin was here, could get pretty granular. But
And there's another organization though too that it's not just
Island Harvest.
Island Harvest, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's part of the turkey drive.
And that's what you guys just did. How many turkeys did you?
400 turkeys this year.
400 turkeys.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we, when I was talking to Joanne at Island Harvest, I told her, I said, we'll commit to 375.
Yeah.
And then the morning of, I got there and I said, hey, a slight change. So I think right away someone thinks like lower. And then we were 400. They were so happy. And they exceeded their goal
You're
of
changing lives, though, Mike. Just let me stop you just to say, like, you gotta, and I tell you this when we're just talking, and it's you and I, like, these are very important decisions that you're making because, it's nice to see there's the turkeys but people's lives are changed. There's a ripple effect to that.
There is. I don't. I guess I don't. Not that I don't know that, but I just do, and I just try to do good and try to be better tomorrow than I was yesterday, and often it's on the front line of that turkey drive when usually Randy says to me, she said, You're going to change people's lives next Thursday because they're going to have a meal to eat. A meal to eat. I mean, fortunately, that really isn't vocabulary for my family. But there's a very real need, and it's extremely humbling. Dropping off those turkeys and seeing, on the far side of the parking lot, them being picked up. So basically,
What is that setup? Tell me that, because I have not been. The funny thing about that, not funny to laugh at, but every time you do that, it's a Friday morning, right?
correct, the
And
Friday before
right,
Thanksgiving.
Friday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I always miss that event with you because I do Philanthropy and Focus, the show focused on the nonprofit organizations and their leaders, which I got to tell you, you can congratulate me if you choose to, but this morning I did the 191st episode of that show.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just it's an idea. And I just tell you that because it inspires people to say, I had this idea, I talked about it for a couple of years now, we're approaching 4 years of doing that program.
Amazing,
so
Tommy.
It is, and it's amazing because I get to, that's like the dream, man. I get to hang out with the people you're talking about that lead these organizations and have conversations like this. So tell me that Friday morning, what happens? You say, because everybody's bringing the turkeys and...
Yeah, they're getting dropped off, and don't quote me, I don't know if this year there was an actual trailer on the far side, but in years past there definitely was. So maybe just a logistical thing, but essentially I saw it firsthand. And this year, having so many turkeys, the box truck just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's probably one of the best calls I can make to order a larger box truck.
So what do you do? So you go, you get a truck. You're not just getting the money for the turkeys. There's actually
I actually do the turkeys. We could do the equivalent through a check.
That's not as much fun.
It's to me. I don't know if it's right to say less humbling, but it's a lot of work. Picking up the truck, pretty easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Driving it over, not bad.
400 turkeys. That's a lot.
Going to Stop and Shop and working with the meat manager.
Yeah.
Every year I have his cell phone number. Give him a call. I usually call in September, and he seems very happy.
So you're not going in the store and going, oh, they only at 75. We got to go to another store. You're at a different level.
I'm calling just after Labor Day.
Okay.
The first phone call.
Wow.
Hey Ryan, Mike from Premier.
So you get the golf outing in August, or it used to be in August, right?
Yeah. Now it's the second Thursday in September.
That's what I had. I think I had back to school night. That's why that was a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Over the past 2 years, it's challenging because in the CPA world, there's tax deadline,
Sure.
15th, where many go, hey, I wish you had it back in August, but then there's a lot in August.
People are traveling in August.
Who say, I'm dropping my kids at school, I'm taking vacation time.
You're never going to get everybody.
The attendance has never been higher when we did it in September.
Okay, so then you're winning.
We got it.
Yeah.
We figured it out. The attendance continues to grow. Networking at 9, Friends of Karen, primary recipient of the funds, Island Harvest as well.
I took you off track. The meat manager after the summer, first phone call, and
yeah, Ryan. He's been at Stop and Shop for 9 years. You start to I'm building a relationship with him, and he likes getting that phone call, right? Because it's him and 2 or 3 other employees when they bring the turkeys out on pallets. What do they call it? Like jack pallet or what have you.
He's from Jack Pallet. I know him from the neighborhood.
We went to high school with.
Yeah, different schools, but the same time period. Yeah.
But essentially, these guys come out, and this year there was a new young man working there, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I ask where are these turkeys going?" So I said, "We donate them to Island Harvest," and he said, "Wow, that's very nice of you." And so we loaded the truck. There was 100 boxes for 4 turkeys per box. And
but are you loading that?
I'm loading it. I was in the
so
truck.
That's the part that you're talking about. This is hard work.
We
It'd
loaded.
be easy to write a check.
Yes, it would.
Right?
Yeah.
But you're not doing that because you want to feel. Who else does that with you?
For as long then.
So I don't actually do that show on Fridays. I've just been telling you that for years because
you don't want to help load the truck.
Load the truck.
Right,
so
right,
now
right.
you know.
Now I know the whole group. Nobody's around the Friday before because nobody wants to move 100-pound boxes.
I think I'll record my show next year ahead of time.
Okay.
So I could be there. I could tell you where to go with the turkeys and stuff like that.
But it's humbling, and like I said, a lot of work. Yes, it is, but minute compared to those that are really in need.
Do your kids see what you're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to coordinate this year where my son was going to come with me to the News 12 clip in the morning. Timing just didn't work out with the schedule.
So tell us about that. How did that happen? The News 12 thing.
So I think this is year 3 with News 12. So each year we've progressively given more. And 3 years ago, Joanne from Island Harvest, she reached out and she said, do you want to? She's very early, but do you want to come and you'll be live on News 12? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I said yes. And what time you be there? And she tells me 6:15. I go, no problem. I'm a morning person.
Yeah.
So I was there at 6 o'clock, and it's still dark out.
This is at the lot where you're bringing in
in the lot of Bethpage Federal Credit Union.
Yeah.
The main drop-off.
Yeah.
And you pull up, and not necessarily at that time of the morning, but let's say roughly because that's at 6, 8 o'clock. There's a DJ playing. There's music.
That early in the morning.
8 o'clock,
8 o'clock
to
though, it's
6
like a
o'clock.
party.
Yeah, it's like a party.
Yeah.
But it's not a party, right? You're just getting people a meal for Thanksgiving.
Unbelievable. How many? Do you know what the number of turkeys that actually show up? I mean, you guys make a huge dent in that yourselves.
I think this year the raise was shooting for 4,400, and I think they were at 5,300.
Wow.
Roughly.
Well, let's break that out for a second. I mean, 9-10% of that is coming from Premier Payroll.
You know what? I thought about that.
Yeah.
When I heard the number, and I go, wow, that's
a big deal, man.
That's pretty cool.
It is a big deal. You're making an impact.
And hopefully that number just continues to rise. If Premier is at the helm of controlling it, there's no question that we'll up the ante every year.
I love that. That's great. That's just that ambition is there. I want to just move over into the company a little bit and tell us about how does your company differentiate, aside from what we're talking about, the ripple effect of doing great work in the community, but you've grown, the company's grown, man, and I mean, we met in that industry, in the payroll industry, right? And where did you see this opportunity for hospitality to focus on and serve hospitality companies? And then what's this, let's play this, right? Restaurants, hospitality, what's the secret sauce, man? What's Premier all about?
I think it's a few things. We have software. All the companies have software. But I think it's the people behind pushing the buttons of the software. I think it's the industry knowledge, especially on the hospitality side. There's a lot of compliance.
It's very complicated?
It's challenging because of state compliance. The state of New York, near the top of the list, if not there, the state of California. And essentially, so between service-oriented software and genuinely caring about our clients, we've grown our business exponentially. You know that. But there's no greater compliment in no matter what you do, not just payroll, but when you get a significant percentage of business from internal referrals, something's right. Yeah. So that's just part of our model, and our staff knows that we've got their back. And what I mean by that, we don't have a revolving door at our front door, but I'll tell you, it's loosely held open, meaning when there's family matters, I'll be the first to go get in my car. Yeah, I'll drive you. Yeah. Real life matters. We're humans. Whether it's your pet or your family, we're gonna support and help you out in any way. And I think when someone feels good about who they're ultimately working for, but the mentality that we've built is who we work with.
Tell me what that means.
So, everyone's just, the boss. Yeah. I hate, and I've been called the boss. Yeah. I've been called worse, not a whole lot, but I don't like that because I view myself more as a leader. And that's not a negative. It could be a negative connotation because the boss could be just not a nice person. And I think our staff feels good about knowing we've got their back. They're humans. Like I said, they make mistakes. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're a company that no one will correct them faster than us. We'll apologize. We often can catch a mistake. because we build relationships.
Yeah.
We see the flow. We see the
You'll
data.
see things that look different.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Not all the time, but
Right.
we try to have this safety net there to catch before it becomes a mistake.
yeah. Now, again, not to say anything about larger national, international payroll companies, but I did represent one for almost 8 years early in my career. And what happens is, the eyes aren't always looking at things. You know, you don't have enough people. You can't, and also, at least I felt like that company lost its way in focusing on small business. You know, and I think that's what, even when you and I would talk about that this was like a vision for you to do one day, it was that level of, I don't know if this is still the mantra, but you know, premier payroll where every client matters. Is that still what you guys say?
It is.
Yeah.
And you know, I think over the years we've morphed a saying of offering software with customized solutions.
Okay.
That's where we sit in the marketplace, at the crossroads
Yeah.
between software, knowledge, and caring. You
Yeah.
know, doing it with some customized solutions. And listen, we have some quote unquote old school clients that they call in. You know,
They call in the payroll.
It's not the best practice when there's an issue because there's nothing to reference back to.
No, it's better at least checks and balances on both sides.
You know, so in that instance, in a traditional way, you know, a client say, hey, and they'll just say the 5 people's total hours, and we process the payroll. I think it's built where we may shoot an email, they may not check it, but we go, hey, this is what we got,
Yeah.
and something to reference back to. But having, you know, customized solutions where, as simple as processing payroll, we could do that. You need all the bells and whistles, we got those too.
Right, right, and that's important. And as you talk about compliance, and even as it relates to human resources and things like that, there's certainly a lot that business owners have to be aware of. I remember a colleague used to say, as it related to payroll services and other services, that these agencies have teeth, and that if you screw these things up, they come after you, you know, meaning as a business owner. So
Sure.
I feel a company like yours being on the front lines and having those customized solutions is a real game changer for your clients, because look, maybe I own a couple pizzerias, right? And that's my bag, man. That's what I do. I understand this, you know, we make the best Sicilian slice all around, right? Okay, doesn't mean I understand payroll.
Right.
Or even like as it relates to, you know, state unemployment insurance and different things like that that are related to that payroll conversation, right? I am always of the mindset, let's outsource this stuff to folks who actually do it. I don't do my own taxes. I don't even paint my own house.
Right.
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 There's a guy who does that, right?
Yeah, and essentially that's where we sit too. Do what you do best.
Yeah.
And I say this often when speaking to prospective clients or referral partners. If we get this right, you're going to feel like we're an extension of your business. I'm not going to be sitting next to you, but you'll feel like we are. And
That's partnership.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, we have an extremely high client retention rate. You know, our biggest competitors usually have about 20 to 25% turnover annually.
20% of their book of business is
It's just the way the model's built, and you know, we're less than 2%, and most of the time it's a close of a business.
Sure.
It's a relationship that, you know, we can't overcome. Someone's relative just started with usually
Right.
one of the bigger
Sure.
companies, and,
Right, a young
and
person
they want to give them a
now
chance.
paying,
You know,
it's a salesperson for one of the big
Yeah.
payroll companies. Sure.
and you know, just a simple example. It was a year ago, roughly almost the same week. Local client, I'm very friendly with him. I eat at his place.
Yeah.
And he left.
Yeah.
He was giving his son's friend a
An
shot.
opportunity, sure.
And
Probably apologized to you too, right? My guy, you know.
yeah, and I said, hey, really, I said this.
Yeah.
Not a problem. I understand if it doesn't work out, as I would say.
Right, of course.
And I said to him, I go, look, can I at least offer you some advice? Because I you know, I've done this more than 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Why don't you just wait till January? I go, there's 2-3 more pay periods to go.
Oh, it was that. Oh, it was just.
It was that
yeah,
close.
it was that
And
close.
you're in this
I'm
business,
very
so you
familiar with
understand.
that. Yeah, let's
So,
close it out. Let's
you know,
start fresh.
But somebody trying to earn a commission,
And hit a number. Right.
and they went over. it was a nightmare for him, an absolute nightmare for him. And you know what?
And this is a hospitality client.
It was
they
a
don't,
hospitality
they don't really need to play games with payroll at the end of the year during the holidays.
This time of the year,
Yeah, come on.
it couldn't have been a worse time for his business.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I'm saying. He's busy.
Yeah.
Last thing he needs is people not to get paid, because that's what the outcome is.
So he went over. I was still his customer. Said hello to him. You know, I think it was about 6 weeks into February. He had some choice words. I'll just say that he called and said, "Can you stop in? We need to talk about the payroll." And he's back. He came back. So what made sense by the time we spoke? A few things he had to get ready. What did I do? Knowing my profession, we started for April.
You start for April, right? New quarter.
And
right.
if he said to me, "Hey, I need you to start as fast as you can,"
Right.
and we talked about that. But I said, "Do you want to do what makes sense, or?"
There's a difference between a man who owns a business, you, and a guy who's trying to hit a number, a quota guy, a quota carrier. And no offense, I've been that guy. I've grown up in that, right? The challenge, though, is I got to hit this number, man. I got to hit this number. I got 3 or 4 guys levels above me telling me we got to hit this number, right?
Right.
And that never sat well with me, and it's probably why I couldn't work for those companies very long, you know, because I finally said, this doesn't jive. Like, when we're referring a different service at Vanguard Benefits, our agency, I want you to start when you're ready to start. Like, I'm indifferent. Like, we're not going to rush you, or if they're going to move to like an outsourced HR situation, we're going to get there when it's timely. We have enough time to build towards the goal. Maybe we do some, I don't know how you guys refer to a dummy payroll or something like that, right? We're going to run a couple,
Sure.
you know, zero balance.
Parallels.
Parallel, okay. Let's just do this. A guy like you or me might not feel the same way if somebody's breathing down their neck and going, "Hey, we're going to send you to Cancun if you hit this number."
Right.
It's not the same dynamic.
Yeah, and even our sales team, you know, that belief runs over to them.
It translates to everybody in the organization.
Yeah. You know, what has to make sense for the client. It goes back to letting the client know that we're an extension of your business. So I take that to heart, meaning, hey, I'm not your partner, but I am.
Yeah, right.
And you know, that's all in part with why we have such longevity with our clients. And you know, we're out there listening too, meaning for opportunity. If something makes sense, you know, we keep saying about how much we do in hospitality. Well, people often call us, and probably the most notable in a chuckling way is somebody was looking for a particular type of firewood for a brick oven.
Okay.
And I didn't know anybody. Vin didn't know anybody, but we made a phone call. That the phone call went 2 or 3 out. We got the person.
You got the firewood?
And that's just doing good.
I don't think your big payroll guys are looking for firewood for
they don't care.
But that's key differentiator, man. That's the unique selling proposition. This is the stuff that makes you guys what you are. But you know what? I got to tell you, Mike, that's you. That's Vinny. That's being thoughtful about being good guys in the community. You know what? Of course, it's good to retain that client relationship, but it means you care. Like, that's what it is, man. You genuinely care.
Yeah. And, you know, that phone call would still happen. Client, no client.
Right.
When you lead with honesty, the world just finds its way back. And you know this, Tommy.
I do.
I don't walk with my hand out and go, you know, what payroll deal, this, you know. I've been very fortunate, you know, after starting this company, and I hope no matter where this journey takes me, that people still view me as Mike as he started day one. Honesty, integrity. You know, I'll give you the shirt off my back, but you know.
I like that zip up, by the way, if you're giving it away.
Thank you.
But talking about that, listen,
you want to try it on?
We're running later,
Okay.
but we're running out of time. How do they get to you when they want to learn more? We got like 2 seconds. Just shout out the website.
Premier Payroll NY. PremierPayrollNY.com.
Perfect. This is another episode of Changemakers, Long Island Changemakers. Your boy Tommy D. Another In Focus production. Make it a great day, everybody. Thanks, Mike.